Right, hello and welcome back to
Contrary
Starfield.
to what you might have heard, you see secure.
We'll head in and we will get underway with talking to this prisoner person in the back. Am I just allowed back here? They're not going to be annoyed at me, are they? Apparently not. Right, this door, yep. Why, hello there.
A visitor? I have all the company I need.
Bold lady. I know you've talked to Keeper Aquilus about the Varun faith. That's the single loneliest statement I've ever heard. Let's go with that.
Jokes. You come to hear about Varun. Like the guards. Like the Keeper.
I don't think it was a joke. It was an attempt at some genuine sympathy.
The Great Serpent waits in the shadows. He will entwine the universe, and all but the faithful will be made as dust. That is the truth. No more, no less.
Yeah, Snake Fulu. Okay. Spoke of a pilgrim. I need to know more about him.
Anything you could tell us would be tremendously helpful.
Yes, I have spoken to your Keeper about this. I will tell you what I told him, and then you will leave me. Jinan Varun meets the unbeliever. He gives false prophecy to Jinan. But such is Jinan's conviction in the Great Serpent, he does not hesitate. He cuts the unbeliever down. But the unbeliever returns. Jinan realizes the Great Serpent is testing him, and he will not be found wanting. 4 times they fight. Over 120 rotations of the planet they are on. Remember these 4 battles, Jinan, the unbeliever says. Remember these 120 rotations. But Jinan knows this is blasphemy, and delivers the killing blow. That is all.
There must be more to your god than just killing. I need to know the meaning of a word, unity.
I have heard of no such thing. If it exists, it is a shadow that the Great Serpent casts to deceive the faithless.
I think I understand.
Then we are done. Leave me.
It's just like, I'm just thinking as well now with everything that's been happening at time of recording with this. There's definitely got to be a few jokes in here about, unity being, unity. It's like, what does unity mean? What could it, it's like, well, they did just have a pretty bad time with the Unity engine lately. There's definitely got to be a joke in there I can work into all of this, When she goes and says, it's a shadow that will be cast into dust. So yeah, you might not be lying with that one, lass. You might not be lying. Right, we'll head over to the other guy. So this one's a charity worker, isn't it, basically? Right. Charity worker next. I don't believe we've been to the well much, but I guess now we can do. Who knows, maybe we can fast travel here in future. Right, where are they?
No way.
Through the wall. House of the Enlightened. So if we've had Space Fulu and then we've just had, I mean, I guess the first guy is just, I don't know, Mormon or something. Is this guy going to be like the Dead Space dudes?
If it's about the financial or food assistance programs, we are backlogged. Don't worry, we're doing everything we can. Oh, you're not? Sorry. Can I help you?
I need to talk about the Pilgrim. I'm looking for something called Unity. No, not some vague concept of the word. No, we're looking for the game engine.
We don't mean to be intrusive. Any information you could
We
provide
need to know
would be
where it
very
went.
useful.
Listen,
just
I've
disappeared
talked about
one
this
day.
with him a ton of
Imploded.
times, and there's no record of a Unity pilgrim. But since you both insist, our early records are mostly administrative. Humanitarian projects, group counseling notes, charity expenditures. But there is a series of exchanges the founding members recorded in a lot of detail. It's the closest thing I have to what Aquilas is describing.
Okay, let's hear it.
A man walks into the first House of Enlightenment. The founding members just call him the Drifter. So they think he's a charity case at first, but no, the Drifter asks them a bunch of questions. If your philosophy is built on an individual's own morality, what about the second person? That second person might disagree. Isn't the problem of two what you're really looking for? And the founders respond, each individual must understand how the second person lifts them up. All of human effort is a story of cooperation pushing us forward. And it kind of goes on like that. He comes back every week for a year. Same conversation every time. Second person this, the problem of two that.
I also hate the number 2 with a fiery passion. What do I mean each individual must understand how the second person lifts them up? That's just empathy again. We're just talking about empathy like the first guy. Maybe there's a message in what I'm saying. I also hate the number 2.
That's what you got out of that, huh? Honestly, I think the founding members made it all up. There was a little more hesitation being openly atheist in the early days. I think they were experimenting with writing their own scripture. Fortunately, that got abandoned pretty quick. After the records of the Drifter end, you never see anything like it again.
Can you tell me anything about anything else about what it means?
Besides what the Keeper would say about it? Sounds like a gathering point, or a center. Or in mathematics it would mean one, like the one, the first or the beginning. Always happy to help.
Right, this has not been in any way useful. And apparently the fastest route out of here is this way now. Okay, we'll head on out. Button? Button? Uh-oh. Okay, that's not working. We're gonna have to remember how we got in. Or can I just set course and fast travel? Yeah. Sorted it out.
I have things for you.
Okay.
Look, I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you. The fact that you risked your life to save me,
Did I? Hey, you'd have done the same for me,
yes.
right?
My only wish is that my rescue hadn't come at the expense of Sam's life. He was one
Did
of
it?
my closest colleagues. And a cherished friend.
We made a decision at some
Poor
point.
Cora. I'm sure the poor thing is devastated. She's lost a wonderful father.
We got in over our heads and we paid the price. No one's blaming you for what happened.
I really wish I could
Sure.
believe our charter. Yet all the while, I've been cavalier about taking risks and pushing the boundaries. Had I not pushed so hard to pursue the Starborn, perhaps...
You can't take responsibility for aggression. You can't just ignore what they're doing. Sir Morgan and I would never let the Starborn get away with their plan. Really expensive. Let's go with that.
Of course I can. Damn it! Why is this happening to us? We're explorers. Our curiosity pushes us to seek answers to life's mysteries. Yet in return, this is what the universe throws at us. Beings from God knows where who are trying to murder us. Why?
Maybe we might extend this now. We've proven that there are some mysteries meant to be left unsolved. No.
Judging from the blow the question is, where do we go from here? Do we stop exploring? Stop pushing the boundaries? Take a more aggressive posture towards the universe?
We keep doing exactly what we're doing because we never did anything wrong in the first place. We continue moving forward, but extreme caution. We continue moving forward and take out anything that stands in our way. This one.
I suppose you're right. Well, I suppose that's all I had on my mind for now. I'm sorry I got so angry. But I assure you, it's nothing personal.
Okay. I'm happy to be your galactic explorer and punching bag all in one. Yep, let's go with that.
Well, we have a long road ahead of us.
Yeah, she's definitely trying to romance me. I'm gonna have to go back to the adoring fan or she's gonna end up falling from me at this rate. I'm just too much of a stud. Women can't be allowed next to me for this long. Or this just happens. Maybe the adoring fan was right and I've had these powers all along and just didn't know it. Right, and whoop. That is, yeah, the right way. Back to Space Church.
Sorry, but I need sign off from the Interstellar Affairs.
And to be honest, I am surprised that there's still churches in space. It just seems to be a trend that as science has taken over more, the church is definitely, well, it's definitely on its last legs, I think, these days. There's far fewer of them and people don't take them as seriously as they used to. That can be said for certain.
What did you learn? Was there something hidden in their stories, like we thought?
I think there's only 1 or 2 local churches in my village now. Used to be a good handful. We're down to, I think it is one or possibly 2. But I know that there's been a couple of closures since COVID, and even more around the neighbouring villages and towns. So yeah, just one of them things, you know. I'm surprised that they still have them in space. But I suppose, you know, there'd be 1 or 2 about, but probably not many. Right, the Enlightened story used the word second and 2, but for the Zealot, she said Genome fought 4 times over 120 days. Pilgrim ad infinitum, that must...
Was there something more? Planets are often named by number. That second might mean the second planet in the system. What else did you learn? If there really is a location the Pilgrim wanted us to find, those do sound awfully like coordinates. Was there anything else?
Yeah.
Yes. What he added to infinity. Maybe that points to a name. If we're looking for his resting place, we'd need to know the name of the star system, wouldn't we? Let's see. We have something that could be coordinates. Something that could point to a planet in the system. But what's the name of the system? Infinitum addendum. What if we break down the parts? No systems named finite or add. That just leaves in and dumb. Well, that's certainly how I feel.
Indum. I think we have next planet. I find I'm naming Dum Dum. What do you think?
Well, I suppose that'll make someone laugh.
So Indum.
Yes, that's it. The second planet in Indum. At 4 and 120. That's where you'll find the Pilgrim's resting place. And from there, maybe you'll find the true meaning of unity. Before you go, you've now spoken to many different perspectives in our universe. In a way, you'll be carrying their philosophies with you on this journey. I know you're looking for a specific unity, but if you had to guess what it was, what interpretation would you give it?
Something sacred out there, bringing everything together. Just a word. I need to take responsibility for finding it. Only total conviction will bring us the truth. We are being tested.
Conviction.
Let's go with that.
Another word for strength. Can the truth not be revealed to the weak?
Let's see. I won't find the answer by doubting every step I make. Let's
Your
go with
only
that.
path is forward, then? Finding the meaning of unity is a totality that you cannot ever step away from?
Conviction is what gives all of us at Constellation our strength.
Well, I won't keep you any longer. This has been fun, I have to admit.
That was a massive, like, running around the houses, wasn't it? I think, like a big old sidestep from the main campaign, just for a bit. Hey, go and have like philosophical discussions with like religious people for 15 minutes, then come back. Oh look, if you take all the, you know, it's like it could have been, you know, it'd be the equivalent of going, ah yes, if we look at the chapter number and the, you know, oh, I forget what they call them all in the Bible, you know, and they've got all the, when they give Bible quotes, and it's like, oh, it's in book this and chapter that, and this line and so on, and give all numbers, and it'd be like getting all that and being like, ah yes, here's the, if you add them all together and then divide them by the number of letters in the sentence, and then multiply them by the, you know, by this, and look, it adds up to it creates coordinates. It must be there. And that phrase he used must be the name of the system. It seems very, I guess, contrived would be the word I'd use for it. While I'm here, I think it is. I'm gonna try. Where are we? Activities. Vanguard.
Hey, Sarah's friend. You come to enlist at long last?
What do I do next?
Well, all right. Take the elevator down to the Vanguard Orientation Hall. You can get started at any of the registration terminals. The system will walk you through the rest. And if you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
So, while we're here, we are going to take a moment to go and use the simulator. So, is it down here, I take it? I suppose we'll have to choose that quest now. Step 1 of joining the gang of the Vanguard. Register at one of the terminals. Right, exit that. Activate. Orientation hall. Looking good. To register examination, please select enlistment agreement. You agree to perform necessary services for colonies, and that could place you in serious danger, resulting to harm of your craft or yourself, up to and including death. In exchange, the Vanguard agrees to compensate all captains according to their experience level and difficulty of the task required. All applicants will be required to earn a satisfactory grade on the simulated combat flight. Successfully complete a probationary mission. Upon completion of both pre-requests, it agrees to sponsor your citizenship application and guarantees the granting of United Colonies citizenship once sufficient time or acts of valor have warranted it. Do you agree? Yes. Okay, back to my menu. Service guarantees citizenship. And they've got colonies in the name, I mean. Right. I do believe that this will be,
Humanity learned the Earth's magnetosphere would collapse sometime in the next half-century, eliminating all life on
so
the
yeah,
planet.
I'm thinking the UC are our guys.
Decisive action was required, but the secure transport of an entire civilization would demand a new kind of cooperation, a new kind of courage, and a new kind of union. Thus, in 2159, the United Colonies were formed to make that journey possible. Just 1 year later, the Galileo, the first of many colony ships, touched down here on Jemison, beginning a new era of human history, the age of the United Colonies.
The effort and planning it must have taken to evacuate literally the entire planet. Can you imagine? The logistics alone must have been mind-boggling.
So what year did it? 2150. Right. UC turns up in 2159, and they touch down on the first colony ship in 2160, I guess.
It was only in 2230 that the faction known as House Varun first made contact with the rest of the settled systems. Founded by the passengers of a colony ship that had left New Atlantis and disappeared 4 decades earlier, House Varun was a faction unlike any other. A theocracy dedicated wholly to the beliefs of its isolationist founder, Jinan Varun. House Varun initially made overtures of peace towards the rest of the settled systems. They claimed their only intention was to spread the word of their god, the Great Serpent. But none could have guessed that this worship might take the form of a bloody war, the Serpent's Crusade.
Right, so they just turn up decades later after going AWOL, and they're in a cult now. Lovely. 3-Star Collective.
The 3-Star Collective was initially founded in 2188. When the citizens of Aquila banded together with the pleasure city of Neon in mutual defense. But in 2194, after the deployment of a UC medical star station in orbit around their world, the citizens of Narion also requested to join the collective. The resulting rise in tensions between the 3-Star Collective and UC culminated in the settled system's first intergalactic conflict, the Narion War. Despite a decisive victory by the UC, the colonies permitted the citizens of Narion to join the collective, forming the basis for the fiercely independent union that persists to this day.
Those damn revolutionaries. All cowboy looking. We'll get them back and force them to take our tea and stop throwing it in the harbour and such.
The United Colonies strove to provide all their citizens with opportunity, security, and peace. But there were those among the UC that still wanted something more. Independence. So in 2161, the UC issued the Centaurus Proclamation, granting UC citizens the right to settle distant worlds and form their own sovereign powers. It wasn't long before the first new faction, the 3-Star Collective, was formally organized in 2188, later followed by House Varun, revealing themselves to the universe in 2230.
Right. Narion War. Serpent's Crusade.
Beginning in 2240, House Varun forces declared all-out war on the rest of human civilization, initiating the Serpent's Crusade. Over the next 23 years, thousands of 3-Star, UC, and independent souls were killed by agents of House Varun in the name of their serpent god. It was only with the death of their founder in 2263 and the succession of his heir, Jarek, that House Varun finally sued for peace. There remains, however, select members of House Varun who refuse to recognize the cessation of hostilities their leaders established. Even after House Varun's mysterious disappearance, these zealots remain a threat to all who encounter them. Their pacification, a goal of all space.
History of the Narian War. Oh, it's quite a thing. In 2196, the Narian War, humanity's first large-scale conflict among the stars, is remembered as a defining moment for the settled systems. As the first major conflict to make extensive use of grab-jump-enabled ships, it was less defined by key space battles and more by an extended cat-and-mouse interplay between two powers, as the well-armed and professional UC Navy tried again and again to pin down the piecemeal but savvy three-star fleet. Unable to strike a killing blow, they resorted to more severe tactics to try and drive them to capitulate, but without success. After many long years of war with little to show for it, even the populace of the UC itself began to turn against the cause, with protests roiling even New Atlantis, the citizenry demanding that the war finally come to a close. At long last, the final blow was struck, with the UC Navy finally cornering and obliterating the three-star fleet in 2216. So, how long is that? 20-year war. Oof. It was a hollow victory. It was from the resulting negotiations, the Treaty of Narion, the settled systems as we know today emerged, both literally and figuratively. Despite winning, the UC found themselves in an unenviable position, painted as a brutal aggressor, even in their home systems. So the spirit of unity and lasting peace, the UC agreed to the demands of the three-star collective and Narian settlers, whose collusion triggered the conflict in the first place. They handed over Narion to the collective, as they had requested at the start of hostilities, including the clinic medical star station, creating the three-star collective as we know it to this day. In return, the UC got two concessions. The first was payment for damages done in the form of mineral rights on multiple worlds across the galaxy. The second, more significant, was that no great faction may ever colonize more than 3 systems. The UC would have Alpha Centauri, Sol, and Wolf, and the three-star collective would have Cheyenne, Volley, and Narion. They agreed to the terms, creating and codifying into law the settled systems we know today. The Treaty of Narion has since become the foundation of all contemporary political politics, and its only official violation, the cause of the galaxy's greatest conflict, the Colony War. To learn more about the Colony War, please proceed to the Conflict Among the Stars mural. Here it is. Looks like there's a whole museum and everything, isn't there? Well, we can whip through this and call it an episode.
Conflicts between the galaxy's factions.
Because I'm kind of curious to see.
The recent colony war between the UC and the Freestar Collective.
Recent.
Set off by the unauthorized Freestar colonization of Vesta's Pride in 2308, a direct violation of the Narion Treaty, the colony war spread quickly across the galaxy. Both sides deployed every tool at their disposal. Armadas of warships, mechanized combat platforms, or mechs, even bioengineered alien creatures, the infamous UC xenoweapons. It was only in 2311 at the Battle of Cheyenne that the scales finally tipped. The Freestar Collective, utilizing their civilian fleet as a human shield, successfully crippled the superior United Colonies Navy. After After their shocking victory against the galaxy's greatest navy, the Freestar Collective offered terms of peace, which the colonies, out of an interest in staving off any further human costs, accepted. The galaxy has been rebuilding ever since.
A few bits of that reek of bias.
War was a horrible conflict that irreparably wounded the settled systems. There were times I felt that it would never end.
That must be very recent because she's not an old woman yet. You know, she's not got grey hairs and that, so it must have been, you know, within the decade or so.
Few settled worlds were left untouched by the colony war. But nowhere could the viciousness of modern warfare be seen more clearly than on the Freestar planet of Nira. Initially occupied by invading United Colonies forces as a forward operating position, repeated attempts to take and retake the planet by collective forces led only to devastation. Swaths of the world were transformed into scorched husks, a nightmarish testament to the depths of human ingenuity and human cruelty. And today, Nira remains a continuing reminder to the horrors of unfettered war.
We might have to visit there. There might be a load of cool mech wrecks that we can salvage, you never know. I hope we get to drive one of these around at some point. If we can go around in a ship, I want to go around in a mech. But don't worry, the UC were totally good in this. They didn't create these things and unleash them on the planets.
But that can't be true.
So that's a terramorph. Isn't that what we saw back at the temple? It were terramorph, I think, or something similar.
In the midst of the colony war, a different kind of tragedy struck the UC city of Londinian. A newly
Londinian.
constructed but critical supply center for the United Colonies war effort, Londinian found itself overrun by one of the galaxy's most mysterious predators, the Terramorph. A rare but pervasive threat to all human-settled worlds, Terramorphs swept over the city, seemingly out of nowhere, on a scale never before seen in recorded history. Valiant efforts by the UC military slowed the onslaught, but the creatures proved unstoppable. Ultimately, the decision was made to destroy the Londinian spaceport, sealing off the city, the outbreak, and its citizenry from the galaxy at large.
Well, we've got to go and visit there at some point.
The tragedy of Londinian is mourned by the UC to this day.
Fun fact, London is actually called Londinium, not on, at the end, U-M. Londinium. That's technically London's name. Like the Old English version of it. So it's actually surprisingly close to the Old English of London's actual name. And it wasn't actually the capital for a long while. At first, technically the capital was in Worcestershire, I believe. It was the kingdom of Wessex, which was the kingdom that conquered the others to become England. And I think for a while, I think it were even, yeah, I think while that was all happening, the Danelaw and the Vikings, their capital was York, which is the first major city I believe they took when they invaded. So they invaded and took York, and that was their capital. So for a while we had, it was Worcestershire and York were the capitals
After
of
the
England.
devastation wrought by the colony war, the UC and the Freestar Collective came together to ratify a treaty that became known as the Armistice. Both sides agreed to a vast reduction in standing forces, and that xeno-weapons and mech warfare would be outlawed.
Oh, why mechs?
All related research was sealed away, accessible only in cases of dire emergency. But the Collective had another demand, that the active commanders of the UC military stand trial for their actions. The United Colonies, in the interest of peace and galactic security, agreed. In 2311, 3 United Colonies senior officers were found guilty.
Yeah, them
Commander Henry
officers
Durant,
who did nothing
General
wrong.
Indira Rastogi, and Fleet Admiral
And it was
Francois
all the
Sanon,
Three-Star Collective's
known
fault,
better
definitely.
as Ve Victus. All were sentenced to death for their actions, bringing the colony war to a close and returning peace to the galaxy at long last.
Well, I've been watching for all of this. Oh, it's still not done.
All of the terrible weapons that both sides used against one another. It had to
Yeah, but not the mechs. I don't know why they put the mech. Well, we know why they put the mechs away. It's because Bethesda couldn't be bothered programming them in. You think they'd just reuse like the code they've got for the power armor, but just make the legs and the arms bigger or something? But I guess not. Too bad. I'd love to like get out of my ship into a giant mech suit and just start walking along blasting everyone. That'd be cool. Right. Well, I've been reading on, well, watching on, watching, reading, listening, all
An
the
official
above.
branch of the UC Navy, the Vanguard is the United Colonies Volunteer Fleet, serving a myriad of security, logistical,
So yeah,
and
while I've been
reconnaissance roles.
listening to this, I've just been supping my tea and eating some
After
biscuits.
a sufficient length of service, UC citizenship is guaranteed to every Vanguard member. Open to all captains, regardless of origin, the Vanguard is leading the charge to protect and support the citizens of the United Colonies, wherever in the galaxy they may be.
Yep, service guarantees citizenship. This flag just needs to be planted in like a dead alien bug now, and it's perfect. It's just reminding me how much I'm looking forward to the new Helldivers game. Very much so.
Is born a United Colony citizen. Only through service to the UC can one hope to earn one's citizenship. But the UC prides itself on taking care of its people. Cost of living controls means citizens pay less than their foreign counterparts for needs big and small. All citizens are issued a grant upon joining to get themselves on their feet. And only UC citizens have the opportunity to purchase property, getting the chance to live in one of the most beautiful cities in the settled systems. By joining the Vanguard today, you too can begin earning your place here, in the heart of galactic civilization, as a citizen of the United Colonies.
I mean, with that pitch, how can you not agree to join these guys? You've got to, haven't you? You have to. I mean, come on. Service guarantees citizenship. We have to. Right.
Welcome, applicant, to the piloting simulation chamber. Please enter the designated.
I've spent a fair bit of time in simulators just like these. They're startlingly realistic. Have fun.
So, what we're going to be doing next time, we're going to be going in here, and we're not actually going to continue this quest. Basically, what you can do is, I don't know, I guess you wouldn't call it an exploit per se, because it's actually, I mean, honestly, it's a rather realistic way of doing it. You can level up your piloting skills by using the simulator, but unfortunately, it doesn't give you access to the simulator once you've left it and completed your application. So, if we want to still do all of our piloting skills, not just put the next 2 ranks into actual piloting to get Class C ships, if we're wanting to go ahead and get, I don't know, say, ballistic weapon systems, and rank that up, which I believe to rank that up you have to do damage using ballistic weapons, literally just do damage with them. All of these things can be done in the simulator. We could literally, if we had enough skill points, for, I think, from what I remember hearing about it, you need like 40, 50 odd or something ridiculous. You need a lot. So obviously, right, let's do shield systems. We just have to block damage with our shield once we've unlocked that. Right, that's going to require us to use 4 skill points. Right, Oh, let's do payloads. We'll need 4 skill points. Oh, I want to level up my engines. 4 more skill points, please. And you get the general gist. Each one of these we want to level up. It's got to be, yeah. Each one we level up, we've got to go back in the simulator, and we'll need 4 skill points, which means 4 level ups. It's a bit ridiculous, but by all means, we can do it all while we're in the simulator. But the moment that we complete the quest, then you have to do all that damage and kill all those targets and things out in the wild, which means finding. I mean, here, you'd have to destroy 15 ships. When we get into an encounter in space, how often is there more than, say, 3? That's not happened yet. So that's probably 5 encounters out in the wild before we can even level that up. And it'll get larger as we go. So better doing it this way. But it does mean that we probably won't be... At the very least, we'll be leaving this quest for last. If we decide to do all this. I'm still not sure if I'll be going beyond the main quest line. I think we'll at least try the 3-star collective thing, since we've started that now. And we'll probably do this whole undercover kill all the Crimson Fleet thing maybe once we've done this as well. We'll see. It depends how much time I've got between finishing the main quest here and starting on Lords of the Fallen, which comes out later in the month. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. This has been Starfield. That tour has probably taken us up to the episode length, but it's quite enlightening. We've got all the background lore covered now. We know what's happening. So, still some tensions between the settled systems. In fact, where's the map here? So, yeah, we've got El Centauri, Sol, and where's Wolf? Wolf there. So we've got these 3 systems, RVUC, meanwhile Cheyenne, Narian, and wherever the hell, what's it, I've completely forgotten the name of it now. Wait, Neon. I was going to say Nova for a moment, but no, it's all, so we've got that, Neon, and that's where the 3-star collective is. That and on the clinic. And it's the clinic that started it all off, really, wasn't it? Right. Anyway, so there's tensions between those systems, is what I guess would say. But for now, thank you very much for watching. We'll get some to just contrast the bit of story time hour we just had there. We'll probably just be blasting things next episode in the simulator for a bit, getting this to level 2, and then continuing on with the main quest. Well, not getting it to level 2, sorry. Putting 2 skill points into it to get it to rank 4. Right. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Starfield, and I'll see you in the next episode for that. I will see you then.